have a lot of memory on my phone. I know that already. So the video may cut out completely. It is the 25th of April, 2016. It is Monday. I just spent the last hour. God, my back hurts. I just spent the last hour or so. It's kind of bright out here. I don't know if you can see me wearing my cool jersey, but I just spent the last hour and a half, maybe 2 hours. It feels like it, like on my back. Like like when you've been standing for such a long time, your back starts to hurt. My feet, my heels, my back hurts. I just spent my time talking to somewhat of I don't know if he's a pastor. He's very into the Christian religion. He said he's a Protestant Baptist, something like that. There's this church place. It's like a church bookstore. That's what it is. Or bookstore, Christian bookstore. That's what it's called. I used to pass by every day on my way to work. Every day. Along with the other stores like, haircuts and everything like that. Like barbershops and everything like that. But, gas stations or whatever. And, yeah. Remember the first time I went in there to actually look around, there were two guys in there. One was they were both talking about homosexuality. They were talking about how wrong it is and people are misled and all this stuff and about God and, sinning and all this stuff. And I was skimming a book in there. Like I said, this was a while ago, like last year, early within last year. Well, the summer of last year. Remember, that's when I started working at KFC, which is literally right there, KFC. Yeah. Anyway. Yeah, I was reading a book and I heard their conversation and how they were talking about how, wicked and nasty it is and all this stuff. And yeah, you're going to burn in hell if you like this and do this. And that made me angry. And I remember I put the book down and I kind of stormed out. Because I was angry. That made me really angry. It was like, that's sick that they're talking about this like that. I know, it's really because I didn't like that they're somehow talking about me. It's like, logically think about it. Who wants to be told that they're good for nothing or that they're never really going to succeed? Who wants to know that no matter what you do, you're going to fail? Or you're going to go to the wrong place? Or, you're never going to belong. You're never going to quite be right. And even worse, it's by your own doing somehow. It's on your own terms. Now, I'm not saying, again, this goes into the whole choice to be gay kind of shit or spiel. But it's like, at least you choose to live on the impulses and the actions. That's really what I've taken from what people mean when they say that. Pastors, you choose to act on these impulses. But see, here's the thing though. I love women. I love touching them and kissing them, making love to them. And, maybe it is because, it's like a form of self-love to myself. Maybe it is because, when I would, to be honest, to be blunt, whenever I would be, touching and squeezing and kissing a woman's breast and her nipples, it felt, of course, exotic. And it felt like, whoa, like some giddy little schoolboy. It was like, oh my God, what are these? Like in the giddy boy, like, oh my God, I'm actually doing it. That initial excitement and adrenaline, like, oh my God, I'm touching them. Oh my God, she's naked. That kind of thing. It sounds so stupid, but really, I'm not gonna lie. It was, after a while, after I got over that initial giddiness, it was like, this feels so right. And yeah, you could say, well, of course it feels right to you because you're gay. Fine. But it's like, it's also because you can say, because of course I really like doing that stuff with a woman because it's so familiar. Her body is so familiar to me because I have the same thing she has. I have breasts and I have a, whatever you want to call it, a cookie or a JJ or coochie, whatever, So it's like, it's somewhat familiar to me, and it keeps like a comfort level. It keeps a safety, protective boundary layer over something that, or versus something that I'm not familiar with, which is a penis and testicles and all that other stuff and whatever. It's just, I basically named the two parts I know, the penis and the testicles. That's basically all there is, to my knowledge. Anyway, and of course hair, but yeah. I was on my way because I saw a sign for VIP cuts. It's a barbershop around here, $7 haircuts basically. And I was on my way to go check that out. And like I said, I was passing by that same Christian store that I passed by for a while. And like I said, after that day, I was mad. I was like, no, fuck that place. I don't ever want to go back in there. I don't ever want to be around people who are gonna, make me feel bad and look down on me, right? It's like common sense tells you, yeah, of course you wouldn't want to be around people like that. You don't have a group of friends like that. Of course not. That's why you have your buddies who are more like you or share your same views or whatever. Cliques, if you want to call them. Not clit, cliques. All right? I'm gonna be honest though. I decided to stop in because I decided, what the hell? Let me go in here because I have been wanting to talk to someone, religious based and someone who actually knows the word and is invested in it and lives for it. I wanted to talk to someone who gave me the pure word, someone who's like real and would give me no filter. Wouldn't tell me anything just to make me feel good, but would tell me actually as it is, as a person who's honestly never really been invested into that stuff before. Or I started to and then I stopped. Because again, I didn't like where it was going because inevitably I always knew, no matter how much, how good I was starting to feel about God, it's like it always came back to the redundant, well, you're still what God doesn't like you to be. You're still gay. And if I'm still gay, then I'm still wrong. You know what I'm saying? And there's no point. Whatever. I'd always be wrong. So, trying to be right with God, that would always be the wrong move because if I can never naturally be right with God, you understand? It doesn't make sense. I've already said I don't like things that don't make sense. And I can pick out logic that doesn't make any sense. So I gave up. I threw in the towel just when I was starting to get close. But like I said today, I just randomly stopped in there. So what the hell, maybe who knows what I'll find in here. Who knows who I'll find who I can talk to and whatever. Ask questions. They can just ask. I only walked up to this guy. His name is Paul. Asking one question. I said, okay, so how do you think the world is? Basically, there's an overview of the question. What do you think of the world with the LGBT and everything like that? Do you think, what's your views on the corruption of the family? Because religiously, I've been looking a lot into this and how religiously there's a corruption of the family because absence of men. And you have men who aren't really men anymore. That, they feel as if they're women. They're men without much masculinity. They're females. I guess I'm the perfect case in point without much femininity. And all this stuff, how do you feel like they're impacting the world? And what's your view on it? And he said, well, I can't say my personal view, but the biblical view of it is. And I knew from that, after that last word, the biblical view is, that little phrase that I was talking to a good guy. I was talking to a guy who was, again, going to be straight up with me. He was going to be real. He wasn't going to tell me anything that sounded nice. And I've heard from other religious pastors that all these gay, open, friendly churches who say, oh, it's okay to be gay and God made you this way and this is the way and it can be fine and this. Well, I've heard that's really wrong of pastors to do, and for pastors to say they truly are a man of God and they give the word of God if they're going to delude people and tell them that actually this is right when in fact this was not God's plan. God does not want this. Basically making people think that it's okay and that this is the new revelation of God. And that's wrong of people to do that, because it's like God's word is constant. It's forever. It doesn't change. God knows what he's doing. That's why he constantly knows what's going to happen either way, even if we as humans don't. He knows the future. He knows what's set up for us. And so why would he make plans that don't make sense? Why would he make plans that can be kind of broken, or plans that we can try to twist and turn and make our own way? No, God has the written word for us, and it was meant to be stuck to, it was meant to be followed a certain way. Not, just lived out however the hell we want to for our good sake, to make ourselves feel better. And I can really, again, logic, I can agree with that, because I know if you look at it logically, it's like, okay, but this isn't the Bible. That is wrong. Hell isn't the Bible. So for people to go against it and say, actually, it's it's right, or it's okay, and there's love, and yes, I will admit, I feel personally that God is love, and God represents kindness and love and all that stuff, but it's like, it just, anyway, whatever. I went in there and I talked and I cried. Okay, I cried a lot. I cried a lot. I cried a lot. And Paul, he said, I know God has something really special planned for you, and I'm going to pray for you and all this stuff. And I opened up a lot about my past, and Paul, he said, I can tell, and correct me if I'm wrong, I can tell you're someone who feels alone. Most of the time you feel alone, don't you? You feel really alone and to yourself. And I couldn't help but cry, because yes, I do. I really do. I do feel alone. I feel alone. I feel alone with myself. I feel empty. And even when I'm around other people who are like my buddies or whatever, like I feel there's not much to me. And this new inspiration, or whatever it is that's in me right now, that's making me want to do this, want to reach out to this part of me, and these parts of living, religiously or spiritually, whatever you want to call it, it's like, it's not just for some new self high. Oh my God, here I am, I'm reborn. Aren't I fabulous? Or aren't I better than all the rest now? It's not like some project club, like, I'm bored, so let me go do this now, or I want to decide this. No, it's not like that. No. It's literally something that's happening to me. And he said, Paul said, the fact that you're here right now in this very room with me, it just proves that you are meant to be here, and God loves you, because God has put you here today. He brought you in here, and he also put me here today to be the one to talk to you and help you. And I said a lot of stuff. I opened up a lot of stuff. I know I just recently did a really big sin. But I know I need money, so. Was that money is the root of all evil? Yeah, I'm doing things that are corrupt, and I know I'm in control of myself. It's not the money. I can't blame money. I can't blame the paper. Paper is an inanimate object. I can't, and it's a product of trees, It's so synthetic. I can't blame something that's not real and something that's synthetic. But anyway, I talked about my feelings of feeling more masculine than feminine, and I don't even know what a woman is, besides just a physical makeup. I'm confused, and I thought I could live in a more masculine form of myself, but now I'm feeling against that. Like, I'm just, what I'm saying? Like, I've realized things aren't as I thought them to be, and I feel bliss. I do. I feel good as far as pronouns. If people call me he or she, sorry about that. If people call me he or she, like, I'm good with either one. It's like, okay, it's cool. You can take me as whatever, because I'm fine with it. And as far as being trans, like, getting to that point where I'm absolutely fine with being called, she and her and female pronouns being related to in a female way again. Like, that's really big. That's big. And it's huge. And then, to be honest, like, emotionally, I feel like it really helps patch things up with the confusion that I've been feeling about how I see myself. Because I didn't want this. Like I said, I didn't ask for this. I didn't watch anything. It just hit me. These feelings. Not being appreciative and not even wanting my femininity and just any part of it. Whether with my clothes, I was dressed up in a more masculine form. Even then, like, I couldn't stand the femininity of my body. But Paul has brought things to my attention, like, women, they're meant to be beautiful. They're meant to be treasured. And women, I already knew this, but women, they're naturally receivers. They're meant to receive. They're meant to be softer. And a woman must be modest, and she must treat her body like a temple, because each sex must do that, because our bodies, they are temples. You should keep them clean. You should idolize them, appreciate them, and not feel ashamed of them. And whatever. He wrote down his number, and he said, look, if you need anything, because I dished a lot. Like, I said a lot of personal stuff. And he said, look, if you need anything, just give me a call on my personal cell. And I know he gave me 2 scriptures to read, and I'm going to tell you about that. But he gave me the name of a pastor too to talk to. I told him where I live. It's not a creepy thing, okay? I actually trust him. I feel it seems okay with Paul, but he wanted to see how close I live. That way, any other pastors nearby, I could just talk to them. The 2 scriptures, I'm going to leave it like this because this was a good experience. I feel good. I feel uplifted. And he basically told me that God never gave us an assigned religion. No, he wants to have a relationship with us. That's all. He needs us to open the door to him. Not the other way around. We have to open the door from our side only and accept and let God in. God can't do that for us. God can't make us want to love and accept him and have a relationship with him. Someone just drove by. But in fact, if we do the same for him, and if we extend ourselves for him and let him in and let him cleanse us, then if we want to be, if we are one with God and allow ourselves to be, well, then we'll do the same. It's going to be reciprocated, And see, all this fucking talk, don't get me wrong. I know I'm the one talking about, like, religious stuff, and I just said the F word, but whatever. All this stuff right now that I'm saying, this is kind of stuff that I would be like, skirt, whatever, I don't want to hear it, all that mumbo jumbo religious shit. This kind of shit I would just, like, literally, I would make sure it went in one ear and out the other, because I didn't want to hear it. And to be honest, there's a part of me, I know that even in moments that I did feel close to God and I felt blessed by God and I was actually shown actual evidence in my face, God is real for me and God cares and loves and protects me. It's like I felt guilty because, see, I knew the feelings were very real. Feeling a connection, feeling God was real, and feeling God within my very soul. I felt it and I knew it was real. I'm sorry, it makes me want to cry. Like, I knew it was real, but, because I can feel it. I can feel it, And I knew it was real, but, it's like, where do you go after that? Because, you feel it, right? And you have these feelings. You feel that bond, that connection of love, and that you're cared for and you're looked after. And I was just in a car accident, My mom said herself, it's amazing that nothing happened to you. Especially with how the accident with me. The road was slick and wet. And the fact that nothing happened to me, I walked out without any broken bones, without even a scratch. That says something. And there are plenty more times I can name in my life where things have happened, and I know that I should have been hurt more or whatever, and I wasn't. Or nothing happened. or situations where I'm around other people who are doing idiotic, reckless things, and I'm not one of the people to get hurt or to get in trouble or whatever. Like, and Paul said, well, because I told him my real name. He's like, I'm gonna get to the scripture thing though. He said, do you feel like, do you think it's possible this is, that was God sparing you so you could come to the light and so you could see God and be one with God eventually? And I said, yeah, I actually do. But I felt guilty, like I said, after having the feelings and the connections of God, and like I said, in those moments, actually feeling him and feeling that he's real and that I wanted to be closer and connected to him, but then I couldn't even allow myself to do that because I've built up such walls of rejecting God and rejecting religion and not wanting to be crazy and psychobabble and all that crap. And then I felt guilty because, like, okay, well, how can I feel God and accept God in some ways, but not in all ways? You see what I'm saying? I accept and I love what God does for me, but yet I can't even show my appreciation, like, and I won't let myself feel a certain appreciation for him to certain extents. I felt selfish. But I'm going to talk about the scriptures. I told him about, like I said, how I feel more masculine than feminine, and what is really a woman. I don't even know. I told him about my ex-stepdad and how he made me feel. I told him about hurting myself. I said a lot. How I feel alone. I have plans for the future, but I still feel alone. And I know, again, because logical sense. You have to use logic. I know if I can't even find happiness with myself, I'm not even happy with myself. I'm not even talking about just little moments where I laugh or giggle at something else or whatever. Just because you laugh doesn't mean you're happy. Not really. True happiness, Oh, sorry, there's a wasp. I don't know if, like, you saw, like, my face get weird and scrunch up. But it's like, really, even though I have plans for the future, I know, and it was always hard for me to imagine, like, actual happy future of myself, because it's like, I don't feel happiness with myself right now as I am. Just even right now, plainly sitting here with myself, I'm not happy. I'm just here. I just am. As far as feeling happy with myself and feeling love within myself, for myself, I don't have that. So how can I ever love and be happy and appreciate anything else, even if it was future career plans? Or even a day of fun I planned for myself, like going to an amusement park or a theme park or whatever, like, how can I be happy with anything if I'm not even happy with myself? Again, it comes back to simple logic, and I don't like things that don't make sense, so things have to make logical piece by piece order of sense. And this stuff right here, all this religious psychobabble, it's sounding pretty fucking good right now as far as making sense. But one thing that's hard is, like, Paul said, I told him about a lot of things, like I said. He said, well, sometimes people grow up and things get scrambled in their brain. Certain behaviors get encouraged, and like I said, mentally, wires in their brain get scrambled. And then that's why you have people growing up the way they do and feeling the way they do when they're older. Because things got messed up along the way. Things aren't meant to be a certain way sometimes. And anyway, he said, well, how powerful do you think God is? I said, I know more powerful than beyond anything I can ever imagine. Anything beyond any action sci-fi movie that you ever seen. The coolest, biggest explosion in space. Whoa, oh my God, no. I know that God is way beyond that. Again, beyond anything I can ever begin to imagine. He said, okay, well then, just how you feel God is so powerful, so beyond you, well then you have to know and you have to believe and you have to trust in God and the love that God has for you naturally. That he is even big enough and great enough to do this for you, to unscramble your brain, what went wrong along the way, why you feel the way you do, and why you have these desires for women. It sounds so weird, like, to imagine myself with a man, like being touched by a man a certain way and sharing things with a man. It like that, marriage with a man and all that stuff, and emotional romantic connection with a man, it just sounds so not me. It just seems so wrong. It doesn't fit anywhere, and it's not even imaginable to me. And I guess because I'm not there mentally to be able to imagine it or whatever. But really, I guess one thing at a time, one little step at a time, before I can start even thinking about possibilities of this being my reality. Fine, being with a man. I love women though, all around, emotionally, romantically, and of course physically. I love me and women together, I do. But see, how can I ever get close to God if I am as I am? How? How can I feel right and better and as one within myself? How? How? The last thing I want to mention, the scriptures Paul gave me to read. John. And there was a subsection of John he wanted me to read too, telling me about how much love God has for me. I have a Bible somewhere. I threw it in the closet. I have to dig it out. But I want to do this. I want to dig deep and invest and at least give this a try. I know I do feel lost. I feel alone. I feel in the dark. I feel like I'm by myself. I do. And anyway, yeah. I've even said, not as much as with the masculine, but I've had little thoughts recently of me being more feminine and everything again, like feminine representation, feminine feelings, and all this stuff. Even Paul said just the most natural feeling of wanting, because one of the first few things I said when I got in there is that I wanted to have children. And I'm sad. I love women. And I'm still sad that a woman can't give that to me. No matter how great our love is, how good we make love, how much love we have for each other, she can't do that for me. She can't give me a child. I want children. 3. That hasn't changed. 3 children. That's my most desirable limit, 2 boys and a girl or whatever, as long as they're healthy and happy. Well, healthy, that's one thing. That's up to God, I feel like, naturally. And yeah, a little bit on my part, what I eat and what I don't eat or whatever. If I'm the one to get pregnant. Shoot, listen to me. I'm already talking like I'm the one who's getting pregnant. I can't even put on a dress. So as far as getting pregnant, yeah, I doubt that I can do that, comfortably right now where I am. But I'm just saying, really. He said that shows, yes, you are feminine. You do have a lot of feminine qualities. You may not even realize it about yourself, but there are natural things with the sexes. And that right there, men don't want things like that. Just a simple thing that you can honestly tell me that you do want that, you desire that. Because women, they're naturally nurturers, and lovers. Men are leaders. They want to fix things. What did he say? He said, women, they're like glass. They're like glass china. Men are more like tools. They're meant to be put on a pedestal and in some way just admired for their beauty. And only women would have certain beauties. And what did I say? I said a while ago, trying to be more comfortable with myself, I even said, I've come to realize, in that video, I had said how I come to realize that a man's body, those are the natural beauties that his body allows him to have. And mine as well. A man will never know the beauties of my body and the things I can do with my body. Never. Just like I will never know with him and his functions, what he's able to do. And of course it made me sad. It still somewhat makes me sad. Again, I'll never, ever be a man. And if we want to talk about reincarnation, fine. Maybe in some life. Like I said in that video, I guess it was meant to be in another life. I guess in another life I was meant to carry out the process of being a trans man, the hormones and the surgeries. Right now, I'm just not feeling it. I'm not feeling it. Because I've come to see it doesn't do anything, really. And it wouldn't ever be good enough to me. And I say that because as picky as I am, it's like painting a painting. Or, coloring, right? And they always told you stay inside the lines, right? It would be like that one little skirt smudge of green on the outside of the line. I would only focus on forever. And again, maybe it's just like it's just, because of the natural feminine thing that's credited to my body as having a female body which I do. It's just another feminine attribute. Again, I can't get rid of it, but that's me. I am picky, and I know if I were to go on hormones and try to live my life and be happy and then notice one thing that was off about my body, about me socially, even with other cis men, it's like that's what I would only be able to focus on. And forevermore, I would always feel like an outsider. I would try to fix what couldn't ever be fixed. Again, because naturally I was not made a certain way, and I wasn't made to be a certain way. You understand? And then to try to change this, like I said, getting into the more spiritual views of things is like, for me to try to change. But yeah, for me to try to change what God giveth to me, if you want to get all like that, what God gave me in the beginning. That's literally spitting in his face. That's shaming him. That's shaming his creation, the beauty that he gave me. It's showing ultra disrespect, that I'm not appreciative, that I'm rotten, if you will. I don't even appreciate what I was given. And it's like, it was given for a reason, Whatever. That says something to me. And I even said to Paul, that's really ironic. I basically told him I'm transgender. I just said I feel masculine than I feel versus feminine. And yeah, it does. It confuses the hell out of me because I have a female body. And how the hell are you supposed to live a masculine life with a female body and with a body that, like I said, with even mannerisms and even thoughts, like wanting to have children? How do you live a masculine? How do you live as just being masculine when your body ultimately, again, naturally produces parts of you socially and mannerisms, like I said, and even physical functions that will never be masculine ever, because they'll always be feminine. It's an attribute. It stems from being feminine, from having this feminine body. How are you supposed to fully be masculine? Even be masculine at all? It's like you are as you are. You are what you are. So trying to alter it, that's when you really mess things up. And Paul even said that himself. Once I asked him about the LGBT community, trying to blur the lines of what's masculine, what's feminine, men and women, that messes things up. And there's a lot of confusion. Then when you make people think it's okay, you just keep having more and more generations that are like this, and they just skew further and further along into darkness and into a place that they were never meant to go, because they were meant to be so distinctive. They're meant to come together and work as a unit, as in the bond of marriage, if you will. Whatever. It's ironic though. The scriptures I was given was John. I think that is a message from God, like a wake-up call. Because again, I do identify as John, I like John as far as an asset to me, But it's like, that's God speaking to me. And speaking to the former me that feels masculine and only masculine and really, really masculine. And yet still somewhat betrayed, again, because of my female body. So I think that is God really talking to me. Maybe. Because, again, talking to the really masculine sense of me, I think it is a sign. I think it is. I think. And Paul also said, he pointed out, like, my clothing. He's like, modesty is important for a woman too, and you dress pretty much like my other 3 daughters. You're pretty modest. Not besides, like, the chain or whatever I have on. But, he's like, and what did he say? He said, I told him about a little bit of, like, my childhood and how I loved my mom and I feared my dad and all this stuff. My ex-stepdad, whatever. And he said, well, he said something interesting. It's like you rejected the mother role. You rejected your mother and her role. And instead you had taken on a more protective role. Because it gave you security. And even dressing as you do right now. Like I said, he talked about my clothing. And I like this because I didn't feel spit on. I didn't feel like he was trying to insult me. Like I said, I came there for truth. I came there for truth in the most purest form. This isn't homo happy hour. Don't make me feel good about myself. Don't tell me God loves and accepts this when in the damn book it's not. It doesn't say that. You know what I'm saying? Like, give it to me straight up. I need to have the most purest form of this religion expressed. But Paul did it with compassion, and I like that. And he wasn't like, oh, you're vile and you're wicked and you're going to hell. It wasn't anything like that. He just talked to me. And it was an open discussion. He said, but the clothing you have on right now, this gives you like a protective layering, because it's like, the more you look of like a boy, boys versus girls, they don't have as much to worry about as far as safety and protection. Girls need the security, and girls, they have factors that are scary to them, things that happen to them that don't happen with boys. So this right here, this natural protective layer wall you've built up for yourself to make yourself feel protected and strong, and walls you've built up to block out emotional feelings that have troubled you in the past, you don't want anyone to ever see or ever touch. So that's why you do what you do right now as far as dressing. I don't mean ranch dressing, but that's where I'm going to end it. This video is already too long, but I'm going to fish out that Bible, whether tonight or tomorrow, and this isn't something I'm going to keep putting off because I actually care about this, so I'm interested in it, and I'm going to go, and I'm ready to head over to VIP Cuts and check out that hair deal. Maybe I can go home and spend $7 for a nice haircut or whatever, see what I like. Like I said, I know I've been trying to grow out my hair though, so, I mean, I wasn't thinking about like cutting all of it off. Like, what good is that gonna do if I'm trying to grow my hair out? But yeah, like, damn it. It's like, I've been trying to grow my hair out more. Like, again, it's more like that more feminine thing. I don't know. It's weird. But whatever. Paul tapped into the thing of, well, maybe it's because you always felt scared and distant from your father. You never felt love from a man, so, it's not easy to open yourself up and accept love from a man or even consider it or whatever. And again, it's just logic. Like, it's pretty logical if you think about it. Anyway. 2 for 3. Anyway. Geraniums. I really thought that said anals at first. I was like annuals or something. But really, yeah, it was all the stuff I've gotten from Paul, and I'm definitely going to look into the scriptures, definitely. Try to rework things from my past and look into things that caused me to be as I am. And, because it matters. I actually give a damn about it. I give a damn about trying to be okay. So like I said, I'm not happy. I'm not okay. and I'm digging into scripture, and all this stuff is going to help me somewhat be okay, even for a little while. You know? I'd really like that, to be okay with myself, and be good and have wholeness with myself. Not sometimes I'm okay, and other times I want to kill myself. Look, a butterfly. That's all I have. I'm gonna go. I'm really gonna go. But if you made it this far, congratulations, and I'm out. And this has been my little religious journey or whatever. Isn't it such a beautiful butterfly? There's like tips of blue like on its wings. Now I'm thinking about that song, Broken Wings. You know, so take these broken wings. That song, yeah. Anyway, that's all I have.